If you currently go to the market to buy a phone, you will get two main choices, iOS from Apple or Android from Google. While both are competing with each other, Windows tried to enter into the game but had to leave out soon due to their underdeveloped UWP or Unified Windows Platform. Android will go through a massive change in the near future. So in today's episode of Tech News, we're going to talk about whatever we know about Android 12. Android has always been something different. Starting from their first version to Android 6, there were several changes in their system user interface. Consistent change from old to something new. The icons became flatter and cleaner over time. Android was never taken seriously then. Several phones ran outdated softwares and were rarely updated. The leap to Android 8 suddenly changed many things. Company took an approach which is somewhat similar to Apple to provide consistent software updates for a larger period of time, but ended up giving updates for a maximum of 3 years. For example, Samsung, compared to Apple, who provides updates for 6 to 7 years. For Android 8, we were able to see many few important security updates getting added into Android slowly, but Android 12's update will be an interesting one. iOS 14, how alarmingly, has redesigned itself to provide a more consistent and compact looking user interface. Apple revolutionized the industry with the new M1 Max, macOS Big Sur or macOS 11's design of UI elements and icons with soft design, translucency and 3D with a single update. Does question Windows trying to push their fluent design system so hard for years now? This can be explained easily. Take the example of Apple. They have released 5 phones in 2020. Taking this rate for 6 years, we get 30 phones. Hence, they need to devote time for software for 30 phones every 6 years, while which the updates are dropped. Comparing this with Android, now at the rate the numbers of phones existing in the market and the number of companies' hardware makes it look like an unattended pile of mess. It is definitely impossible to work for devices for more than 10,000 a year, depending on the single operating system. Now the main part, the features of Android 12. First, the most important one, privacy. You will be able to find a quick toggle feature in the notification bar to block your mic and camera. On attempting to access them, when blocked, whether it is the mic or camera, you will be asked to unblock them. The permission page now looks more detailed and cleaner overall. The introduction of accent color has broken the monotonous white user interface of Android. Starting from the notification bar to system settings, there has been a definite amount of improvement. The accent color can change according to the wallpaper set, which becomes dominant in settings as well as notifications. The lock screen is now redesigned with a cleaner interface and larger clock. Noticeable changes in the design of the music control UI element on the lock screen and is similar to the one in the notification center with the larger size and easily controllable buttons. Animations form a very integral part of the system. Depth plays a major role in such animations. We find integration of depth-based animations on the opening and closing of the notification panel. Talking about the notification panel, we find a small clock icon in the lower part of each card, which opens the snooze notification option set to 1 hour by default. Tapping it reveals the other time options which can be selected. Notifications that appear on the lock screen can now be controlled from the settings page whenever you want them to be visible or not. Changes in the home screen include the addition of non-symmetrical grid options which provide an advantage to taller phones as opposed to the square grids that were followed. Home screen elements or icons now have a border and cleaner list that looks less clumsy and spacious as compared to the previous version. A better screenshot utility such that whenever you take screenshots, it can easily be edited on spot with text and resizable emojis acting as stickers. Scrolling screenshots can also get its place in the release. Aren't they copying a lot from Android ROMs that are already out there in the market? One-handed mode is another feature that is added up in Android 12, whereby a swipe in the bottom of the screen enables you to reach for elements higher. We might also be able to see machine learning for side swipe back gesture. Android 10 had brought along a full screen gestural navigation system, and quoting from XDA developers, we can see that with Android 12, Google could be planning to use machine learning to detect the back gesture. Developers have spotted the presence of a new TensorFlow Lite model and vocab file called back gesture. The file contains a list of 43,000 package names for Android apps. Google could be training its machine learning model against these apps, using them to determine the most frequent start and end points of the back gesture on an app-by-app basis. When the corresponding feature flag would be enabled, Android 12 will use the trained machine learning model to predict if the user intended to perform a back gesture or if they simply wanted to navigate in the app. When the flag remains disabled, Android 12 simply reverts back to the standard back swipe detection method. Starting from Oppo's ColorOS to MIUI from Xiaomi, they have all adopted a game mode which enables the user to tweak the performance of the phone such that it is suitable for playing games. Such modes were not available natively in stock Android till now. In Android 12, we are going to expect Game Manager service, which is described as service to manage game-related features. Hence, a hidden floating game toolbar or gaming toolbar consisting of two visible but non-functional buttons were found. Android now also includes the hibernation of apps. In one of the comments spotted in the run-up to the Android 12 developer preview indicates that Google could be adding a new app hibernation feature, which is a system service that manages app hibernation state, and state apps can enter the mean that are not being actively used and can be optimized for storage. The guidelines and the parameters are yet to be classified for the hibernation or unused state of the app. There has also been addition of other features such as the smart auto rotate. Auto rotation on Android relies on the phone's gyroscope and the accelerometer, as we know, but in a lot of instances throughout the day we don't always get the results that are desired for the context. Google may be looking at this as an opportunity to apply some of its AI or artificial intelligence magic with a smart auto rotate feature in Android 12. Details are sparse, but this feature could use the phone's front-facing camera to detect the position of your head before changing the orientation. I think there needs to be a possible amount of improvement in the animations that are there in Android, because they are not very smooth and the rotation is not eye-pleasing. The animations are a bit slower than one that is present on Apple, that is in iOS, or what we are able to see in MIUI currently, which is much better than whatever we have in most of the Android ROMs. Letterbox feature is also probably coming. There is a mention of a letterbox feature that Google is probably experimenting with. These letterboxes seems to be a new way to put apps into frames or windows where they have adjustable rounded corners and configurable background colors. We are not very entirely sure that what this will be used for, but with the changing user interface now, like phones are probably able to multitask way better than what we are seeing earlier it was able to. Therefore, we can expect such things coming. With multitasking and multi-window system, it will someday be able to beat the desktop operating systems that are currently existing, because more and more apps will get optimized to a multi-screen system rather than a single screen user interface. A not very important update, that is the splash screens that we are able to see for third-party apps that don't have their own splash screens. Android 12 may generate a default screen window for them, which is either light or dark based on the current day or night theme settings. That may be a part of the broader effort to improve the app launch experience. It won't affect the performance of apps. Well, it will as if look like the app instantly launches whenever you click on it. It is something more giving the user a polished experience rather than improving the feature or the performance. Several new emojis were also launched, but you might be wondering that why you are not getting them in the system user interface, or when they're appearing as a box like structure like this one. That is because Android emojis are updated through system updates, which is not easy to send system update for all the phones to change the emojis. Now Android 12 will be fixing one of this major annoyances that happens in Android, that whenever Unicode gets new emojis, an OS update is required to reach it to the phones. Decoupling of emojis such that Android and emojis will be treated differently, and This means that new emojis can be added to the phone by simply pushing an updated font file instead of requiring a full system update just for this change. We will also be able to see a few user interface tweaks that will be coming with Android 12. That is, Google is working on a new animation for bubbles. There will be fading, scaling down animation when dragging, or an expanded bubble softer expand or collapse animation, and a softer transition between bubbles. In landscape mode, bubbles will be shown vertically on the left side rather than in the horizontal at the top. Google is also enabling flexible button sizing, bubble sizing, and enabling fixed positioning. Two features are said to be designed for Chrome OS and its Arc++ container. Anti-tracking features are also coming its way in Google's Android 12. While the features has not been revealed in a leak, Google did express an intention to build a less stringent version of Apple's app tracking transparency feature. Google is looking to balance privacy with an ad-supported ecosystem. Hence, Google's version of the feature will likely be less strict and may not require developers to get permission from the users to track their data. The approach that Google could take for Android may be similar to the one planned for the Chrome web browser. Google previously announced plans to phase out third-party cookies in Chrome within 2 years, that is in 2022. Instead, the browser will be using an alternative system, that is the Flock, which, while most of the revenue of Google is based on their ad services, probably they will find out some other method, for example the Flock, as I had mentioned earlier, to track the users. It will be mainly a system where Google Chrome will be using its own method of tracking. You will be grouped with and mainstreamed with other users with similar interests.